have to kill you, Mailer.
With what?
The American Old West was a place where a single pull of the trigger could turn an ordinary man into a legend. Across dusty towns and untamed frontiers, a rare breed of fearless shooters emerged, men whose deadly speed and iron nerve etched their names into Western history. In this countdown, we reveal the gunslingers whose stories are so extraordinary, you'll wonder how they ever walked this earth. Number 15. William Brocius. They called him Curly Bill for a reason, those thick, unruly black curls that announced him before he ever spoke. Larger than life, he moved through Tombstone with the swagger of a man who knew the land and the people who controlled it. After Old Man Clanton's death, Curly Bill rose as a key figure among the cowboys, the loose band of cattle thieves and border raiders that shadowed Arizona's frontier. Many placed him near the top of their hierarchy, formal leader or not. For a while, he even operated on the lawful side, reportedly collecting taxes under Cochise County Sheriff John Behan, a reminder of how blurred the frontier lines could be. Curly Bill loved his liquor, and when he drank, his presence grew even bigger. One late night, Marshal Fred White asked him to surrender his pistol. As Curly Bill handed it over, it fired, striking White. On his deathbed, White insisted it was an accident. Wyatt Earp testified in Curly Bill's favor, and the court acquitted him. Months later, Earp and Curly Bill crossed paths again near Iron Springs. That encounter ended Brocius's run. George Parsons later called him Arizona's most famous outlaw. Number 14. Clay Allison. Clay Allison was known for an unpredictable nature and a temper that could ignite without warning, securing his place among the most notorious figures of the American frontier. He served in the Confederate Army during the Civil War, but a head injury left him with lasting instability, something many historians believe fueled some of his most shocking behavior. That injury, paired with his fiery personality, helped build the legendary reputation that followed him across the West. Allison's life became a string of dramatic confrontations and gunfights with other well-known shooters. One of the most famous moments came during his encounter with outlaw Chunk Colbert. The two shared a meal before Colbert reportedly made his move, forcing Allison to defend himself. When asked later why he had eaten with a man who wished him dead, Allison delivered his now iconic line, "I wouldn't want to send a man to hell on an empty stomach." For a man who lived on the edge of danger, Allison's death was surprisingly ordinary. In 1887, he fell from a wagon and broke his neck. His gravestone simply reads, "Clay Allison, gentleman, gunfighter. He never killed a man that did not need killing." To this day, Clay Allison remains one of the Old West's most talked about legends, equal parts charm, menace, and myth. Number 13. Sam Bass, outlaw. Sam Bass's story began with honest intentions. After leaving the care of an abusive uncle, he found work at a Mississippi sawmill, determined to shape a better life for himself. Dreaming of becoming a cowboy, he eventually drifted to Texas, but after one season on the range, he realized the cowboy life wasn't what he wanted. In 1876, Bass teamed up with a tough partner, Joel Collins, to drive a herd of longhorns north where the prices were higher. The venture earned about $8,000, but instead of returning to Texas to pay the herd's owners, the pair kept the money and quickly lost it all in Deadwood's gambling halls. Searching for a new path, Bass and Collins turned to stagecoach robbery. After 7 attempts with little reward, they set their sights on something bigger. Their boldest strike came when they robbed the Union Pacific Gold train from San Francisco, seizing more than $60,000, still remembered as the largest single haul in the railroad's history. Bass's fast-paced career ended in Round Rock, Texas, when he was shot during an attempted bank robbery. He died 2 days later on his 27th birthday, leaving behind a short but unforgettable legend of the Old West. Before we jump to the next legend, hit like and subscribe for more history tales. Number 12. Jim Miller, outlaw. They called him Deacon Jim because he never missed church and refused to smoke or drink, a calm image hiding a far darker truth. Behind his pious appearance, Miller earned a reputation as one of the most feared hired gunmen in the Old West. He was known to say he would kill anyone for the right price, charging from $150 to $2,000, a large sum for the era. Miller preferred stealth, striking at night in a black frock coat that blended with the darkness. Hidden beneath it was a steel breastplate, an early form of body armor that often gave him the advantage. Historians confirm at least 14 killings tied to him, though rumors once placed the number much higher. His end came in Oklahoma that day after he was accused of murdering A.O. Gus Bobbitt. Before a trial could be held, a mob seized Miller and 3 others, taking them to an abandoned stable to be hanged. Calm then, he made 2 final requests. His wedding ring be sent to his wife, and he be allowed to keep his hat on. With the words, "Let her rip," he quietly stepped off the box himself. Number 11. The Sundance Kid. They called him the Sundance Kid. Though he was born Henry Longabaugh, he earned the nickname after being caught and convicted of stealing a horse in Sundance, Wyoming, where he spent time behind bars. Though often portrayed as a deadly gunman, no confirmed evidence proves he ever took a life, a mystery that only strengthened his legend. After leaving jail in 1896, Longabaugh joined Robert Leroy Parker, better known as Butch Cassidy, to form the notorious Wild Bunch. Their gang carried out the longest run of successful train and bank robberies in American history, thrilling the public while frustrating every lawman who chased them. As the Pinkerton Detective Agency closed in, Sundance, Cassidy, and Etta Place fled to Argentina to escape the pursuit that refused to let up. Official accounts claim Sundance died in Bolivia during a violent confrontation, yet rumors of his survival never fully disappeared. Some family members swear he quietly returned to the United States, living as William Henry Long in Duchesne, Utah, until his death in 1936. His remains have since been exhumed for DNA testing, part of an ongoing effort to unravel one of the Old West's most enduring mysteries. Number 10. Belle Starr. Born Myra Maybelle Shirley in Carthage, Missouri, she showed remarkable promise from a young age. At the Carthage Female Academy, she excelled in her studies and became a skilled pianist, a poised and refined young woman. Maybelle grew up alongside Cole Younger and later formed close ties with Jesse and Frank James. Whenever the James Younger gang needed a hiding place, the Shirley family farm became their refuge. Surrounded by outlaws and secrecy, she was drawn into their world, eventually earning the legendary nickname Belle Starr, the Bandit Queen. In 1866, she married Jim Reed, a former Confederate guerrilla. Reed attempted honest farming, but when that failed, he became involved with the Starr family, a Cherokee clan known for horse theft. Alongside Belle's old friends, the James and Younger brothers, Reed helped plan daring robberies. His life ended when he was killed trying to escape custody after a robbery arrest. Widowed, Belle focused on organizing heists and fencing stolen goods. Gifted with charm and cunning, she could sway local lawmen through influence or persuasion when bribes failed. In 1880, she married Sam Starr, and 2 years later, both were convicted of horse theft. After serving about a year, they returned to their outlaw ways. Belle's life ended on February 3, 1889, when she was fatally shot from behind while riding home from a store. Her killer was never found, leaving the Bandit Queen's legend shrouded in mystery. Number 9. Bill Doolin. Born William M. Doolin in 1858 in Johnson County, Arkansas, he was the son of Michael and Artina Beller Doolin. By his early 20s, restless and seeking purpose, he headed west for work on the open frontier. In 1881, at 23, Doolin found steady work as a cowboy on the Simon River at the HX Bar Ranch in Indian Territory, owned by Texan Oscar D. Halil. Recognizing Doolin's promise, Halil taught him to read, write, and handle arithmetic, eventually making him an informal foreman, a sign of the trust he earned. Over nearly a decade, Doolin built a reputation as skilled and reliable. During this time, he crossed paths with men who would become infamous outlaws, including George Bitter Creek Newcomb, Charlie Pierce, Bill Power, Dick Broadwell, Tulsa Jack Blake, and Dan Dynamite Dick Clifton. Doolin eventually shifted from cowboy to outlaw, forming the Wild Bunch, or Doolin Dalton Gang, robbing banks, trains, and stagecoaches across Arkansas, Kansas, Indiana, and Oklahoma. On July 5, 1896, Doolin, Dynamite Dick, and 12 others made a dramatic escape from Guthrie Jail. Doolin hid with his wife in Lawson, Oklahoma, but on August 24th, Deputy U.S. Marshal Heck Thomas tracked him down. Refusing to surrender, Doolin was shot and killed. His body was displayed publicly, photographed, and memorialized in a poem, though the government paid for burial at Summit View Cemetery. Dynamite Dick met his end a year later, closing one of the West's most notorious outlaw chapters. Number 8. Cherokee Bill. Born Crawford Goldsby, he became infamous as Cherokee Bill, one of the most notorious young outlaws to emerge from Indian Territory in the 1890s. For over 2 years, Goldsby and his gang roamed the region, accused of multiple robberies and the murders of 8 men, including his own brother-in-law. His name quickly spread across the frontier, earning fear and notoriety. Eventually captured, Cherokee Bill faced a second trial that lasted 3 days, ending in a guilty verdict. The famed hanging judge, Isaac C. Parker of the U.S. District Court at Fort Smith, sentenced him to hang on September 10, 1895. An appeal to the Supreme Court temporarily delayed the execution, raising a fleeting hope that his fate might change. However, on December 2nd, the High Court upheld the original sentence, and Judge Parker set a new execution date. On March 17, 1896, before a crowd of onlookers, Cherokee Bill was hanged at just 20 years old. When asked for last words, he reportedly said, "I came here to die, not to make a speech." His mother later claimed his body, burying him in the Cherokee National Cemetery near Fort Gibson. Over the years, tales of Cherokee Bill have only grown, cementing him as one of the youngest and most infamous figures of the Old West. Number 7. Doc Holliday. Born John Henry Holliday, he is remembered as Doc Holliday, a dentist turned gambler who became one of the most legendary figures of the American Old West and a steadfast friend of lawman Wyatt Earp. Holliday is best known for his role in the events leading to the gunfight at the OK Corral in Tombstone, Arizona. Though popular stories once claimed he killed more than a dozen men, historians believe the true number was likely between 1 and 3. His colorful life has inspired countless books and films, often portrayed by Hollywood stars. Holliday's story began far from the frontier. At 20, he graduated with a dentistry degree from the Pennsylvania College of Dental Surgery and opened a practice in Griffin, Georgia. Soon after, he was diagnosed with tuberculosis, the same disease that claimed his mother and sister. Hoping a drier climate would slow it, he moved west, where gambling was a respectable profession. Over the years, he became a skilled card player and occasionally found himself in violent confrontations. He reportedly saved Wyatt Earp's life during a saloon dispute, forging a lasting friendship. By 1879, Holliday followed Earp to Tombstone, Arizona, where he faced threats from the local cowboys. On October 26, 1881, he was deputized by Virgil Earp, and the legendary shootout at the OK Corral unfolded. Holliday spent his final years in Colorado, his health failing, and died of tuberculosis on November 8, 1887, at just 36. A quiet end to a life that became West legend. Number 6. Tom Horn. Born Thomas Horn Jr. in 1860, he became one of the most skilled and debated figures of the American Old West. Known for his sharp aim and relentless drive, Horn earned both respect and suspicion wherever he went. He first gained attention during the Lincoln County War in New Mexico, reportedly working as a hired gun for prominent cattleman John Chisholm. Calm under pressure and relentless in pursuit, Horn earned the nickname Tommy and became a feared and formidable presence on the frontier. His fame grew further when he joined the Pinkerton Detective Agency. Horne's unorthodox methods and willingness to push the limits of the law made him both admired and distrusted, viewed as a hero by some and a dangerous enforcer by others. Yet his legacy was defined by a single, controversial event: his conviction for the murder of 14-year-old Willie Nickel. The case rested on shaky evidence, and many believed Horne's reputation as a ruthless agent for cattle and mining interests made him an easy target. In 1903, Horne was executed, but questions about his guilt never disappeared. His story remains wrapped in mystery and debate, a lasting reminder of the harsh, shadowed realities of life on the frontier and the fine line between hero and villain in the Old West. Number 5. Butch Cassidy. Born Robert Leroy Parker, he would become known to the world as Butch Cassidy. In 1879, at just 13, he lived with his family on Jim Marshall's ranch in Circleville, Utah, where a chance friendship would shape his future. There he met Mike Cassidy, a seasoned cowboy who became both mentor and friend. Mike gave young Bob his first firearm and taught him how to use it, lessons that left a lasting mark. Years later, Bob adopted Cassidy as a tribute to his mentor. His first brush with the law was surprisingly harmless. Finding a general store closed, he took a pair of overalls and left a note promising to pay later. Though reported, he was cleared, an early hint of the charm and daring that would define his legend. By June 24, 1889, Cassidy's path had shifted. Alongside 3 partners, he robbed the San Miguel Valley Bank in Telluride, taking $21,000. With the proceeds, he purchased a ranch near the Hole in the Wall, a famed outlaw hideout, likely serving more as a base for criminal operations than a home. By 1896, Cassidy led the notorious Wild Bunch, a gang of some of the West's most infamous outlaws. Like his close associate, the Sundance Kid, the mystery of Cassidy's final days endures. Official accounts place his death in Bolivia, yet some family members insisted he secretly returned to America, keeping the legend of Butch Cassidy alive long after his disappearance. Number 4. Thomas Coleman Younger. Cole Younger's life turned tragic after his father was killed following an altercation with Captain Wall-E of the Union Army, who had allegedly made advances toward Cole's sister. Already riding with Quantrill's raiders, this loss pushed Cole deeper into conflict. He joined the Confederate Army, fighting through the final years of the Civil War. After the war, his path shifted toward outlaw life. Cole's first known crime was the 1868 robbery of Nimrod Long and Company, a bank in Russellville, Kentucky. Soon, Cole and his brothers, Jim and Bob Younger, teamed with Jesse and Frank James to form one of the most infamous outlaw bands of the era. Together, they targeted banks, trains, and stagecoaches across Missouri, Kentucky, Kansas, and West Virginia. Their run ended on September 7, 1876, during a failed bank robbery in Northfield, Minnesota. Cole and his brothers were captured and pleaded guilty to avoid execution, receiving life sentences. They were paroled in 1901 after serving 25 years. In later years, Cole sought redemption. Touring the country with Frank James, he shared tales of their frontier exploits. He embraced Christianity, renounced his past, and lived his final years in peace, passing away in 1916. 11 bullets remained lodged in his body, silent reminders of a turbulent past and a life lived on the edge of legend, forever marking him as one of the Old West's most storied outlaws. Number 3. Billy the Kid. He remains one of the Old West's most iconic figures. Countless books, films, and songs have celebrated him, yet the truth was far less sensational than the legend suggests. Often portrayed as a ruthless killer, those who knew him described Billy as brave, quick-witted, honest, and full of laughter. He drifted into crime more from necessity than malice, and under different circumstances, many believed he could have led a respectable life. Popular tales claim he killed 21 men, one for each year of his life, but modern research suggests the true number was likely closer to 4. In 1877, Billy found work as a cattle guard for rancher John Tunstall in Lincoln County, New Mexico. Tunstall was locked in a bitter feud with local merchants Lawrence Murphy and James Doolin. On February 18, 1878, Tunstall was killed by Murphy's hired men while working alone. His death ignited the Lincoln County War. Fueled by outrage, Tunstall's ranch hands, including Billy, were deputized and called themselves the Regulators. Political corruption ran deep, however, and the territorial governor sided with Murphy, branding the Regulators as outlaws. After a daring jailbreak and years on the run, Billy's story ended in 1881 when Sheriff Pat Garrett tracked him to a friend's home and killed him. Over the decades, some claimed to have seen Billy alive afterward, yet historians agree survival was highly unlikely. The legend endures, but the real Billy the Kid was far more complex than the myths suggest. Number 2. Jesse James. Born Jesse Woodson James in September 1847 in western Missouri, he would become one of the most legendary outlaws of the American Old West. During the Civil War, Jesse and his older brother Frank joined pro-Confederate guerrilla fighters, or bushwhackers, operating across Missouri and Kansas under William Quantrill and Bloody Bill Anderson. They were linked to brutal raids against Union troops and civilians, including the infamous Centralia Massacre in 1864. After the war, Jesse and Frank teamed with the younger brothers to form the James Younger Gang, a band of outlaws who robbed banks, trains, and stagecoaches throughout the Midwest. Legends claim Jesse killed at least 17 men, though historians believe some accounts were exaggerated over time. His daring exploits and cunning made him both feared and admired, cementing his place in frontier folklore. Jesse James's life of notoriety ended unexpectedly in 1882 when he was betrayed by a fellow gang member and shot in the back while adjusting a picture on the wall of his Missouri home. His dramatic death marked the end of one of the West's most infamous careers and cemented a legend that continues to echo through history, a story of loyalty, betrayal, and the blurred line between hero and outlaw on the frontier. Number 1. John Wesley Hardin. Born John Wesley Hardin, named after the founder of the Methodist faith, he was raised as the son of a Methodist preacher in Texas. Even in his early teens, Hardin showed signs of a turbulent path. At 14, he stabbed a schoolmate who had taunted him. A year later, while wrestling with an emancipated man named Mage, he accidentally scratched Mage's face. The next day, Mage ambushed him. Hardin fired 3 warning shots, and when Mage advanced, Hardin shot in self-defense, killing him. Fearing an unfair trial, many Texas officers were former slaves, and Hardin was seen as a young ex-Confederate. He went into hiding. When police tracked him down, Hardin's brother warned him. Instead of fleeing, he fought, killing 3 officers before slipping away. After several captures and escapes, he reached Abilene, Kansas, befriending lawman Wild Bill Hickok. At the American House Hotel, annoyed by a guest snoring, Hardin fired 2 shots into the ceiling. The first startled the man. The second fatally struck him. Hardin fled back to Texas. Years of skirmishes with the law followed until his capture, conviction, and a 17-year prison sentence. While incarcerated, he studied law, earned a legal degree, and later practiced as an attorney. In 1895, Hardin's tumultuous life ended abruptly when he was shot from behind while playing dice in El Paso, closing the chapter on one of the Old West's most controversial and unforgettable figures. That's it. Which one fascinated you the most? Drop their name in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more thrilling tales from the frontier.